Hi there, and welcome to Rico's Ratchet Laboratory. This is the first installation of hopefully maybe a series of things, but I like to kind of create stuff and experiment with things. Today, we're going to experiment with my birthday present. My birthday present from my mother is a multifunction UV sterilizer. Comes in this nice blue box with no information. It does have a quality certificate from the company. So of course that means it's good. But no other information about the company whatsoever. We totally had to guess that this emblem was actually the logo of the company, and I went and looked it up, and of course it's a Chinese company that makes these and provides them for the destruction of bacteria and viruses. It's also, as it says, multifunction, which means it does more than just simply kill germs and viruses. It's also a phone charger. It also is an aromatherapy device. That's right. With this one device, you can charge your phone, kill all the germs on your phone, and have a nice smell to enjoy while it's happening. Alright, let's take a quick look at it. I'm fascinated by this. So, as I said, it's a gift. It's a gift from my mother. So, of course, I'm wanting it to be exactly what it says it is, because I want to not have my mother have spent money on me for something that's not. Now, the fact that ultraviolet light absolutely is a germicide in the right bandwidths is not disputed. Technically, the UV band that's designated as a germicide is the UVC band, which typically operates between 200 and 290 nanometers. Well, I don't have anything to measure the nanometers of this device that the UV is putting out. But what I can do is open up Rico's Ratchet Lab. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take the things it says that it can sterilize, and I'm going to get some petri dishes, and I'm going to build an incubator, and I'm going to test this. I'm going to test it on my phone, my keys, a sock. What else? Anything else that says it can do, anything that will fit in here properly, I'll run a test on. I need 5 things because I have 10 petri dishes coming in tomorrow. So I'm getting a start on this video tonight doing the preliminary discussion, because when the petri dishes come in, I'm going to want to start doing my experiment. I'm going to describe my experiment, and I'm going to tell you how I'm going to build an incubator, and then we'll actually perform the experiment over the weekend when the petri dishes come in. So let's take a look at the device. This device it's a simple plastic case. It's got a couple of buttons up front. It's got this thing here. Can you see it? Let's go back over here. Can you see that? I think that's maybe where the aromatherapy comes out. It's got a USB-C port and a USB plug. It does not come with a plug for the socket. We'll use one of the many that we have spare. And it comes with this, which I don't know what this is, but we're going to look at the instructions and we'll see. And so, we're going to test the device. Let's take a look at it first, see what it looks like. On the inside, it's got this base. It's got these little nubs to elevate whatever you're putting in there a little bit, so I guess the UV rays can get underneath it. Do you see this thing right here? That's where you put the aromatherapy drops. You can put, it says up to 4 drops in there, and as this is working, it will diffuse the aroma. I guess that's a fan for, I don't know, a cooling fan. And then we have these things over here, which are clearly the ultraviolet lights on the sides. I don't know that you can light this up without I don't see anything, any kind of protection on the lid to stop you from firing this up without the top closed. So we're absolutely going to do that in just a minute. So you can fit a pretty decent sized phone in there, pretty good sized keys, pair of socks. That's happening. What else? Anything else? Oh, toothbrush. It says it can do a toothbrush. We'll be putting a toothbrush in here. And on each one of these things, what we're going to do is, with my 10 Petri dishes, is I'm going to take a swab of the thing before I put it in. And then I'm going to swab that onto the agar. That's the nutrient that's in the bottom of the Petri dish that grows the cultures. So I'll swab whatever I'm doing. I'll, of course, clean my hands, wear gloves. I don't want to contaminate this. I want this to be not completely ratchet, but pretty ratchet. Whether you see my incubator, you'll see what I mean. So I'm gonna take and make sure I'm sterile. I'm gonna swab whatever I'm working on, and I'm gonna swab the agar, seal up the Petri dish, label it, set it aside. Then we're going to run the item through the cleaner. And the reason we can do that is because if you read the instructions, I will read them directly as they are written. You put the item in there and you press the sterilization key and the buzzer gives out the sound click. To start ultraviolet ray sterilization, the buzzer gives the sound click 2 times in 5 minutes and the sterilization ends. During sterilization, the sterilization indicator light is on. Alright, so 5 minutes it takes to sterilize something. So we're gonna swab it. We're going to put that in the Petri dish. We're going to sterilize it. We're going to swab it again, and we're going to put that in a different Petri dish. And we're going to grow those cultures and see if one grows, one doesn't. Theoretically, that's what should happen if the bacteria is being killed, indeed. If this is operating in the 200 to 290 nanometer range, that is what will happen. I'm hoping that's what happens, because I would love to tell my mother I tested it and it works great. I would also love to tell my girlfriend that, because she is super excited about this and doesn't want to know the results either way, because if it doesn't work, she's perfectly happy with the placebo effect taking place. So if it works, I will tell her. I told her I wouldn't. That way if I don't tell her, she won't know. It's like, Schrodinger's bacteria, right? So anyway, I want to, first of all, plug this in, because now I'm dying to see if we can see what this looks like with the lid off. And then I'm going to show you how I'm going to build my incubator. So give me a second, let me get a plug for this thing, and let's plug this in and see what's up. Alright, so have a plug. I have a USB cord. Of course, it never goes in the right way the first time. Are you ready for this? I'm going to turn this light off. Alright, you see that? Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, the straight line is the sterilization switch. Okay, there clearly is some safety feature that does not allow the light to be pushed on without the lid on. Let's see if we can open the lid. Okay, and it went off. It was on for just a second. So, we will mark the grade up a little bit for safety. I did want to see what that looked like. I did for a second. It was just, ultraviolet light. Alright, so we have our sterilization unit. We have our plug. How are we going to test this? Well, I priced incubators. Now, I will tell you, let's start off with the Petri dishes. I got a set of 10 Petri dishes set with the agar and sterilized Q-tips. That kit for $20. It's a great deal. However, I went and looked at incubators. So here's the deal. So you have to have a fairly constant temperature between 90, 96 degrees, somewhere around there, for the bacteria to culture at optimal rate. Now, you could leave it at room temperature and it would culture over a period of weeks. We want it in a period of days, if not a week, probably a week. So we need to have a environment that will support that growth of culture. So we need an incubator. And I went out pricing incubators, and let me tell you, man, they're not cheap, especially right now with people crazy about stuff going on in the world. So what I did is I went online and looked and learned how to build my own incubator. And most incubators said use a box, like a cardboard box. Some said styrofoam, and I didn't have a styrofoam cooler. However, my girlfriend got a shipment of her medicine today. Her medicine has to stay cool. And in that box was this styrofoam container, which is going to become an incubator. Okay? So here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to drill a small hole in the side of this. Won't take much. I'm going to run this, one of my Starlight base lamps. I'm going to run the power cord through there. I'm going to drop that right into the styrofoam like that. Now I'm going to connect that to the power using this. This is a dimmer switch. I'm going to get a low wattage bulb, maybe 15, 25 watts. I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to have a dimmer switch. I will be able to put the Petri dishes in there, and then I will close this up. And what I will do then is I will take a meat thermometer, this meat thermometer right here, and I will put it right to the lid, and I'll be able to take measurements of the temperature. So I'll be able to see the temperature, see how the thermometer goes through. I'll be able to take the temperature. I'll be able to regulate the temperature using a dimmer switch, and when I get the optimal temperature and it's stable, I will then put the Petri dishes inside. And when they are done in about a week, we'll take them out, we'll see what the results say. And we'll find out whether or not this device works. And I'm kind of excited about it. It's going to be fun, and I would love to be able to tell my mother, thank you. You bought us a really cool gift that actually works. And I would love to be able to believe that the quality control that signed off on this device was 100% accurate. And I would love to be able to post a comment on the product's feedback page on Amazon, be able to say, I proved that this is a good device and it does what it says it's going to do. Alright, so we've used enough time here describing what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do is, right now, is I'm going to just quickly finish off how I'm going to build this out, which is not much. I've decided I'm just going to make a little thing in the lip here, and we'll just be able to close it that way. And then we'll do our experiment, and we'll see what the results are, okay? All right, well, I guess we'll, you don't need to see me. This basically is done. I'm just going to cut a little hole here. But you'll see, I guess, the next thing we'll see is as we're getting ready to perform the experiment. So come on back. The Petri dishes will be here tomorrow. I will probably do the experiment on Saturday, and that gives me the whole day to do that. So we'll do that, and then we'll see how it goes. Well, the thermometer was on over 200 degrees, and the top of the thing started melting, so clearly this is on way too high. That's too high. I need to, I think I need to adjust this a little bit because it's not okay. All right, let me make a little tweak to this and see what happens. All right, so I've finally been able to get it to stabilize at around 96 degrees. That's about where I would like to see this set. Had to finagle this a little bit. Actually, I have to leave this cracked open. I've got the bulb barely lit and got the top cracked. And if you can see it, I don't know if you can see the measurement there, but it's about 96 degrees. So this is where it's going to need to be, and I need to make sure it stays stable at this. We're going to leave it overnight, and if it's exactly the same in the morning, then I'm going to feel pretty good about the setup, because I really would hate to put all these petri dishes in there and have the bacteria die immediately. So I was expecting, I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting it to get so hot so fast, because it was boiling hot in there. Learned a lesson about that, but you know what? Hey, that is what it is. So now we're ready. We can tomorrow afternoon. I've got the agar, and I've got things to test, and I've got an incubator. So let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll actually start the process. So I needed to be able to moisten the swabs, and they said to use bottled water. I didn't really have any bottled water, so what I did was I boiled this container, this little Pyrex container, which I'm going to have also some boiling water in there, some boiled water in there, so it'll be sterile water in a sterile container. And I have my gloved hand I will take this out with. So even though this is a Ratchet lab, we're doing our best to hold to some good practices so we get decent results. All right, let's get this out of the boiling water, and we're ready to start. All right, here we are. The Ratchet lab is in action. I have all the parts and pieces I need. I have calibrated my incubator. I have the petri dishes with the agar. I have sterile swabs. I have my test items. I have gloves. And I have boiled water. And I think I'm ready to start. So, what I'm going to do is, we're going to start with my cell phone. So we're going to do a swab of the cell phone in its current state. We're going to put that in its dish, seal it and label it. And then we are going to put it in the sanitizer. Now, I also purchased 6 flavors of essential oils. We got sweet orange, lavender, tea tree, lemongrass, peppermint, and eucalyptus. We're going to be able to test 5 of these to make sure that this is a multifunction device as it claims. So we're going to run 5 tests. I have 10 petri dishes. We're going to run 5 tests. The tests are going to be on my cell phone, as I mentioned, on my keys, on a screwdriver, on my toothbrush, and then I have a special one saved for the very end. So stick around for that one and you'll see what we are going to attempt. Right now, let's go ahead and get the phone. I don't know where it is, as usual. All right, let me grab my phone. All right, the phone is first. So we're going to, this lab's Ratchet, no question about it, but we're going to try our best to follow some good practices and not contaminate, the things we're trying to test here. So each one of these packets has 2 sterile swabs in it. I will have a gloved hand, and I will have a dirty hand. And the gloved hand will be clean. Okay. And I will only touch, I just touched something. So that glove's trash. Okay, I will only touch things with my gloved hand that I want to make sure I don't contaminate. Right hand is the dirty hand. Left hand is the clean hand. Okay, so we're going to take the phone. We're going to swab the phone. We're going to put the phone in the agar. Not the phone. We're going to swab the bacteria on the agar. We're going to seal the petri dish. We're going to label it. We're going to place it in the Ratchet incubator. I have been able to calibrate the incubator. Now also we know that we need to place it upside down when we place the agar. Alright, the agar is now exposed to the air. So we're going to moisten the swab with the boiled water. We're going to swab the phone front and back, and then we are going to put the bacteria. Now as I'm swabbing this, I'm also turning the swab. I'm careful not to touch my hand. All right, we'll turn this over. We'll swab the back really good. I'm making sure that the swab does not touch anything else other than the thing I want to touch. Now it says to touch and roll the swab in the middle of the agar and be careful not to tear it. Then to draw radial lines from the center to the edge, and then fill in the rest of the space, and be careful not to tear the agar. Alright, this is now soiled and trash. And we have our first petri dish down. I'm going to go ahead and take the glove off. We're going to seal this with, I have electrical tape. I'm an electrical engineer. This is what I have. This is what I will use. We're going to tape this closed. We're going to label it. We're going to put it in the incubator. Now the incubator, I have been able to calibrate to run at just short of 100 degrees. All the instructions I've read said not to exceed 100 degrees. And I will be honest, I would rather it even go down to as low as 70 degrees if it had to, rather than exceed 800 degrees. So I will calibrate this and keep this to the low side, but I will try to keep it around 95 degrees. Okay, I have a sealed petri dish. We're going to label this cell phone 1, so we'll call it C1. C1. Alright, I'm going to drop this in the incubator. If you want to call it an incinerator, might be incinerating some bacteria, but I don't think so. This is C1. Everything 1 will be the dirty one. Alright, C1 is in the incubator. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select our essential oil. I think I would like to start with sweet orange. So we're going to do sweet orange. Smells delicious. One, two. I'm just going to put in 2 because I think as we are using this more and more over this time period, I don't want to overdo it with it. So, okay, let's put the phone in. Close it. Phone is now in. And we'll push the sterilization button. And I guess we'll be back in 5 to 6 minutes whenever this is done. So let's let this run. We'll check it in a minute to see how it smells. And then we will carefully re-swab this and have our second batch of hopefully dead bacteria to test. Alright, be right back. Let's see how the essential oils are doing. I think you have to do the diffuser separately. There's a separate button. Maybe I should read the instructions. So the aromatherapy runs separately. I don't know if I can run them at the same time. Maybe we'll try that. I don't know. That would suck if you can't run them at the same time, seriously. But I guess we'll find out in a minute. I don't want to mess up this particular one by trying it. So let's get through the. Maybe we'll do this on one of the less important ones. I want to be careful with this one and my toothbrush. Maybe the one on the screwdriver will get a little more experimental. Oh, sanitization is complete. Okay, I have some hand sanitizer here. I'm going to put that on my hands before I start anything. So a little bit of hand sanitizer. Let's start there. I don't want to mess this up. Hands are clean. Get a fresh glove. We have our swab, which is moistened with sanitary water. We have our petri dish. We're going to open this up. In theory, this is clean. So, moistened with sterile water. Okay, clean hand. Flipping it over. Okay, let's run the agar. Okay. C2 is complete. Now, we can touch the phone. C2. Let's put this in. I think I'm going to turn the temp down until we're done putting all the stuff in there. Well, I have the essential oil in there. Let's go ahead and do the screwdriver next. So we have agar, okay, screwdriver's next. So I have a moistened swab, all right, we have S1 completed. So we're going to put the screwdriver in, and we're going to also see if we can turn on the aromatherapy one simultaneously. The instructions sort of led me to believe that it could both run at the same time, but who knows? That would be terrible if it's two separate functions. Screwdriver into the cleanser. I'm going to try to push both buttons. Let's see what happens. The sanitizer is on. Aromatherapy is on simultaneously. Let's see what happens. Alright. I don't smell anything. I wonder if the essential oil is supposed to end up on your phone or on your item. I'm going to have a really nice smelling screwdriver if that's the case. We'll also look into the little oil repository and see if the oil burned up or whether it's I don't know, not burned up. All right, screwdriver's done. I continue to not smell anything. The aroma diffuser appears to still be running. So let us swab the clean screwdriver. Okay. Maybe I should have opened this first. Okay. Swabbing the handle and depositing. S2. Alright, it's going in. Okay, there is the two items. Now, I think the next thing we're going to do is the toothbrush. I'm not going to put any more oil in there. It was a nice experiment. We have the extra essential oils to play with later. But I don't really want to put more oil and get oil all over my tooth. You know, I don't need my toothbrush to taste like orange essential oil. I think that's going to be kind of gross. All right, so let us get out our petri dish. Toothbrush. Okay. And let's sanitize and go. Okay, we'll see you back here in 5 minutes. Okay, the toothbrush is complete. Let's run this. I'm going to be a little less sensitive because I'm only going to be testing the bristles, so I don't have to worry about getting the handle contaminated or anything. So let's go ahead and swab the bristles. Temp's gone down a little bit, but I'm okay with that. I would rather it be low than too high. I don't know what part of this to do, so we'll just swab a few keys and the fob for my car. Alright, so let's swab the fob. That's funny. Swab a key or two. And it's in. Alright, let's run the keys. See what happens. Be right back. Alright, the keys are done. Let's get them out. So we are wearing gloves this time because of the fact that we will be handling it. Got our moistened sterile swab, and we go. Alright, we've come to our surprise of the evening, the coup de grace, and I'll share that with you shortly. Be right back. Are you ready for this? Here we go. The last item of the day. We're going to be testing my sock. That's right. In the instructions, it said it will sanitize a sock. Now, I haven't worn a sock in 6 weeks. But I've been wearing this one for almost 48 hours without removing it. So I'm going to take it off. I'm going to swab the inside. We're going to give it a test, see how it does with sanitizing the socks. Can it live up to its claims? We're going to find out. Ready? Put it in. Let's run this. See what happens. Be right back. Alright people, the sock is done. I'm going to leave it in here while I swab it. I don't want to touch or anything, but I'll take the swab, I'll swab it in there, and we'll make the culture out of that and see how this works. So this is the last one. We're going to put it in. Hopefully we've done a good job of not contaminating anything. Alright, let's open this up. There we have the sock. Let's swab that bitch. Okay, there we have it. The last one. And we'll put it in. Now, just so you understand the rules I'm going to be working under here, this is supposed to run for 3 to 5 days. When it's not turned on, the incubator that is, it runs about 80 degrees. When it is turned on, it is easy for it to go over 100 degrees. So I'm going to be monitoring it very carefully. We're going to try to keep it in the mid-90s, but at night I'm not going to run it because I can't monitor it and I don't want it to go over 100 without me being here to immediately do some kind of active action on it. Okay, so I'll only run it during the times when I can actively monitor it. When I go to bed, I will turn it off. When I wake up, I will turn it back on. I think that will be fine. There's no reason to think that it won't be perfectly effective. It's the killing, the overheating, that we need to be focused on and worried about. So that is what we don't want to do. So low is good, high is bad. Let's keep it low and we'll try to keep it under control. And let's see in 5 days where we are. Alright, I'm super stoked to see what this is going to look like. So I will see all of you back in 5 days, and I guess we'll see what happens then. Alright, see you then. Bye.
4 to 6 days later.
Alright, it's been 5 days now. We're ready to see the results of our experiments. The incubator held up really nicely. It ran all week. There was a couple of moments I had to monitor it very carefully. There was a couple of moments where I got right at 100 degrees and I had to drop the temp. But overall, it maintained a pretty good temperature, and I do know that something's grown. I just don't know the results yet. So we're gonna find them out together right now. Thanks for sticking with me. I know this is a long video, but I felt it was important to go over all the parts and see how everything was being processed, so that it was clear what sort of techniques we were using on this. So let's go ahead and look at the first pair of petri dishes. Now this will be the sock dishes. Alright, let's go ahead and pull them out. Alright, here we have sock number 1. Clearly has growth there, as you would expect. Not terribly, a lot of growth. Here's sock number 2. That is a lot of growth, and not a lot of dead bacteria as we were thinking. Very similar. So, it looks like, from my perspective, for the socks, it didn't do very well. So what's next? The keys, I think, were next. Okay, here's the key 1. And it's got a little bit of bacteria, nothing substantial. And here's key 2. If we are going to compare, I would say there is probably 1/3 less bacteria in key 2 than there is in key 1. Alright, what's next? Toothbrush. Well, I will be really happy to say that there is no bacteria on the first toothbrush, and one small spot on the second one. So I was really worried about this one. I was worried I was going to gross myself out and be worried. But my toothbrush, generally bacteria free. This one, because of the fact there is there was nothing significant in the first one. Kind of makes it hard to tell. Alright, what's next? Next should be screwdriver. Screwdriver 1, we have one big spot right there. Do you see the bloom? Screwdriver 2, one tiny spot right there. So if we look at area of coverage, I would say that's probably about a 90% reduction in the overall amount. This is the big one. Because this was actually designed for being used with a cell phone, this is the one we're most concerned about. And we know for a fact that cell phones are nasty, nasty things. So really worried about this one to see how this is going to result. Let's go ahead and pull it out. Okay, cell phone 1. Lots and lots and lots of bacteria. Cell phone 2. Much less. But still some. So, I would say there's a reduction. I would say there's a reduction in the amount. Maybe to the tune of about 40%. That's just an assessment based on me eyeballing this. What I would like to say is I do believe that there has been some reduction. Now this was one treatment of this. If you did this every night to whatever you were putting in there, I think 100% you're going to end up with this device cleaning what's in there, which tells me that this device probably works. How effective is it? You have 2 lights on the edges of this device that cascade light inward. If you have a cell phone laying there on the bottom, is it really going to get good coverage from the light? I don't know. This is probably one of those things, like I said, you'll want to turn it over each night, do a different side. I believe, based on what I'm seeing, that it does work, but it is not going to work on one treatment. It's these things that if you use it repeatedly, it's going to work. I think it's going to work okay. So, I think that brings us to our conclusion. Did not kill everything on the first treatment. Believe it will kill it all over time. There was a reduction. My toothbrush does not have bacteria on it. Thank God. And I have to say, for this particular product, I cannot attest for anything other than this product by this company. I think it's going to work. I think it's going to be okay. So, there you have it, Mom. Thank you very much for the birthday gift. It looks like it's effective. We appreciate that. And that's it. Time to close down Rico's Ratchet Lab. For this time, we may need to open it again. I don't know. In the meantime, I don't know. Whatever. Alright, well, thanks for sharing this time with me. I appreciate it when you come and watch. It helps out a lot to like and subscribe. Makes me feel good if you want to. I know it's a long video. Appreciate you sticking around. But on that note, I'm going to go. I wish you all well. I hope you're all healthy and happy. Maybe things are going to break loose here. We're going to be able to get out and about. Hope so anyway. In the meantime, take it easy and stay healthy. And we'll see you later.